Good morning and welcome to Atlas Yoga Studio and Seiza Hot Yoga in Simcoe. This is Sarah, and Sarah's got a few questions today about yoga teacher training, and I thought we'd do this so that we could share this with everybody today. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Denise. So we're really excited here at CESA to be able to host teacher training, especially with you. The first thing I kind of want to get in is I know a lot about you, and I've had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with you. And I'm just wondering if you can tell our students a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I've been teaching yoga since 1993, 94. I finished my first certificate in yoga, but I really started my interest when I was a teenager. I started university out in Newfoundland, and they had an amazing, continuing education and extracurricular courses in meditation, mindfulness. We did all kinds of interesting things out there. But over the years, as a gymnast, a dancer, a fitness instructor, and then a yoga teacher, yoga was where I philosophy and movement kind of met on a mat together for me. And that inspired me. Then I couldn't get enough. So I started training with some of the most wonderful teachers in the world. I have had training in Kripalu Yoga and Shivananda Yoga and Iyengar Yoga, and the list goes on. It's a long, boring list. But what happened along the way was somatics. I got introduced to somatics by Eleanor Criswell Hanna. And that combination, my first teacher, Susie, was a dance teacher and a yogi, and she really incorporated Feldenkrais and Alexander technique in the way that we learn to warm up the body for yoga. And that was the beginning of my education in somatics. And then Eleanor Criswell Hanna opened up that door. So I dug a deep well in yoga and then a deeper well in somatics and embodiment and that whole thing. So hopefully our program is like the best of 30 years of studying the body.
Super cool. That's
Yeah.
a long time of studying. Uh, I also would love if you could just tell us a little bit more about what your specific program entails.
Okay. Atlas, the 200-hour yoga teacher training program it's comprised of 4 modules. The first module is really all about you. It's about learning how to analyze your posture, learning how to develop a personal practice, and learning what tools and that you can use to find out what's going on with you on the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional levels, and integrate that learning into a system to develop a personal practice. And then module 2 is about anatomy, physiology, applied biomechanics, and how to understand how the human body works in relationship to yourself. And so then you're evolving your personal practice with a deeper understanding and language around anatomy and physiology and movement. And then from that, we move into the history, philosophy, and ethics. And it's even become a bigger part with everything that's going on in the world and our better understanding since the #MeToo movement and a lot of different senior teachers being out as, being in completely unethical. So we spend a large amount of time understanding the dynamics around that power dynamics of how equals can't cancel, and how when we have teachers and students that we have to understand there's always an imbalance of power. And our fourth module is kind of it's the bells and whistles. It's tantra yoga, yantra, mantra, bringing in all the esoteric parts of yoga. And each module has a book that you read for a book report. Each module has a test yourself knowledge and information. And we go deep and wide in the program so that you understand the larger picture of the yoga industry that you're moving into. And we have a small segment on the business of yoga as well. But and that ties it up. I don't know. Is there
In a
anything?
nutshell, it sounds
Yeah,
like that's the nutshell of it.
yeah.
That's perfect. And then
Okay.
really quickly, can you just tell, because we're in lockdown, I know we're going to be online for some of it more than in person. Can you tell us how that is going to look a little bit?
Sarah, if you'd asked me a year ago if this was possible, I would have asked you for 2 weeks to think about it because I really didn't know. I was in the process of developing online programming and I didn't know how that was going to go. I didn't necessarily have an understanding myself at that time. And I'm here to tell you, we decided to go online in the spring, and I was amazed at how incredible the program could be in this format, that we could still develop deep, lifelong connections with the other people, that we could have epiphanic moments and transformational moments with the practices that can't happen unless you're in a group. It's one thing to learn online. There's some online learning where you have to do it all yourself. In this program, we have a large amount of contact, just like we're doing right now. We're having a conversation, but we have conversations and we do demonstrations together where I can see what the other people are doing and give them feedback. And that feedback loop is still there. They do some partnering work where we go into breakout rooms. And so you're still getting to develop relationships and an understanding of the lived experience of yoga, even though it's online. Ideally, if the government allows us, we'll be in studio for part of it. But what we're hoping is that people who might not necessarily be able to access yoga if it was only in studio will continue to get access to it. So whether we're in studio or online, both will be facilitated.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I imagine that there's a whole bunch of other questions that are going to come up too from students. So can I ask you to give us like your website or how they can maybe directly contact you if they want to ask you direct questions?
Absolutely. If you go to www.atlasstudio.com/training, you'll see the 200-hour program, the 500-hour program, and a lot of detail about the types of things that are included in that program. If anyone wants to email me at info@atlasstudio, we can set up a 15-minute meeting to answer their specific questions. And I'd be so excited to be able to do that because we all have different questions. And if someone would like to take a yoga class this week before the program starts, there is space in our online classes so they can jump into a class with me or another yoga teacher in training and get a firsthand feel for if we feel like a good fit. Yeah.
That is absolutely perfect.
Sure.
Thank you so much for your time. And I'll make sure to post all the links you just said in this post as well when we make it. And
Awesome.
we'll talk soon.
Yeah, so hopefully lots of people can join us still. We have space and we have scholarships still available. So don't hesitate to ask for a scholarship application. I know it's a tough time for a lot of people. So we really want to facilitate. If you feel like it's the right time for you, and we hope that you come and join us this time. Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate
Thank
this
you.
time. And we'll clap like angels and say, see you later. And hopefully we'll get to check in another time.
Thanks so much, Denise.
You.